What's good, everyone? It's your guy, Lord Wellied. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you are enjoying your day today. We're gonna be doing today the SMARKDOwn review. I know it happened a few days earlier, but you already know that most of us don't have the time to watch that garbage because we all know that in the credits we're gonna have Jean-Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting at the end, but Jean-Paul Levesque at first because we all know how much of a glory hog Noseman is. He had to shove himself up in every case. He'd be like, Fina, Fina, I'm the gamer. My ego is huge. I put myself in the Hall of Fame. I can't book. Well, then we're gonna start with the mat. The first thing that happens, as you already know, it's in Dublin, Ireland. So of course we're gonna have a dose of Stone Cold Cringy Lynch, aka Becky Lynch. At least, even though her voice sounds really terrible, but at least you can make fun of what she's saying. She's like at this point, she's like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just gonna make an ass out of myself while I'm getting paid. Under Noseman's booking, I'll tip my hats off to you, Rebecca. Knowing how much of a dork Noseman is, then you phone it in. You don't give a crap. At least if it's Vince McMahon, you'll do a good job. Which leads to Tiffany Stratton and Jade and Naya coming later on will lead us to that match. And after that, you have the Miz and Carmelo Hayes, Mellow Miz, against Motor City Machine Bumps. Honestly, I didn't gave two shits about that match. It's a fast forward because I don't know which either one of them is who. Which one is Shelly or the Saban? I don't know, nor do I. I know all I know is that there are two jobbers who never threw a dive, were boring back then, and are still boring nowadays. At least you see the team of. At least it's good. You see Miz getting some wins again, even though you've seen how sadly he was abused under the big nosed jackass. Yet Miz is way better than all his flunkies. You'll get to understand how much of an insecure jackass Noseman is. Then we'll fast forward to it, the Charlotte and Piper Niven match. We all know Charlotte was on her own and against Piper and her two friends, the Alba Fired and Chelsea Green, Miss Karen by excellence. That should be her gimmick, by the way, because she does a Karen fairly well. Because that's who she is in real life. Then again, that match was whatever. But what really boggles my mind is that you have that team being jobbed out now all of a sudden, and we all know, knowing that Chelsea is more than likely a jobber. So by the transitive property, both Piper and Alba are way below, since Chelsea is the leader of that faction, so they're way below. Much like Solo and his group of 75ers, who we're gonna be talking on later on. After it happened after the Cena segment, yeah. But let's keep on that match, the Charlotte and Piper. You mean to tell me that Charlotte can get pinned just by a Michinoku driver or whatever the fuck that move is? But before, we've seen matches when Charlotte get kicks out of I don't know how many moves. That's typical Noseman's logic for you. He'll do the exact opposite of anything that has a modicum of common sense. Because in his mind, oh, the fans are idiots. They're gonna shove anything. They're gonna accept anything I shove them. And they're gonna praise me no matter what. I can't take the heat. I'm a thin skinned snowflake. I raised my students to be just like me. A massive ego with a thin skin. Fuck you, nose man. You don't know how much I hate you. I don't hate you to the point of wishing you anything bad or anything. I just hate how much of an incompetent you are. That's all. Then we move on to the John Cena segment and Logan Paul. Overall, it's great to see John Cena, but it's sad to see him this run has been lately. John Cena can do so much more, and we all know it. But then again, it's not a surprise because under Noseman and how Noseman been treating him, so he's obviously gonna pull a Randy Orton card when he's gonna phone it in, and he's gonna do like those estate employees. You know how they are. Like they're like, nah, whatever. I'll just do the bare minimum at my job, get paid, and whatever. I don't care. It's understandable because knowing how much Noseman treated him like dog shit, much like all the other ones, sadly. But you see Cena doing a Mark promo defending those fans. Yet, just if not that long ago, Cena was a heel, quote unquote heel, and it was a stupid idea, by the way, because instead of capitalizing on it, let's say Cena got pissed off. I don't understand what the hell is wrong with you people. You went from praising all of us, like the likes of Batista, myself, Randy Orton, etc. Now you're cheering for losers like Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and all those bums that are beneath us, etc. You could have had Cena be like that, or like be some sort of a I know I'm better than all those flunkies and all that kind of crap. Whatever. That would have been a good heel turn, by the way. But no, Noseman has to make the most nonsensical garbage and has to make his boy Cody Rhodes look strong and look amazing because I'm Cody Rhodes and I respect you and I appreciate you. Woo! I hate Cody Rhodes. I can't wait to do sucks on that jobber. Oh, I know certain somebody's not gonna be very happy, especially when I'll do the sucks on Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, his two buddies. I know he's not gonna be happy. He's gonna throw a temper tantrum and he's gonna cry. I don't care if he cries. I hate those two jobbers, and I'm not a moron to be gaslighted, and be told like a sheep and believe that those two are now all of a sudden better, even though I remember them being a bunch of nothing. And you know who I'm referring to, the other two, Cody and Flimsy Phil. It's not about Phil, then again, but it was just a side rant, by the way. Yes, you may say Cena said in his promo the 23 years. However, the difference is, John, 23 years ago, WWE had a roster full of talents. Nowadays, it's a roster filled with a majority of jobbers and a few good ones here and there. However, the jobbers are getting TV time, while the good ones are left to fester. And WWE has always this tendency to get rid of someone. Now all of a sudden they go to the indies or do whatever, do fuck all. All of a sudden they come back, and as if they became someone completely different. A prime example is Cody Rhodes. He didn't do anything amazing on the indies. In New Japan, he was some sort of a jobber or third wheel or a spare wheel, whatever. On TNA, nobody gave a fuck. Much like all the rest. Even in AEW, they got tired of him. Yet now, all of a sudden, WWE wants to gaslight us as if Cody Rhodes is something amazing, even though all of us remember from 15 to 20 years ago Cody being an absolute and utter jobber. And the fact that you notice people, someone like a Logan Paul, Pat McAfee, as I said before, Jelly Roll, for example, being way better than most of the trash Noseman shoves down our throats. Isn't that a telltale sign, WWE? Wake up, you idiots! Improve your talent's quality. But of course, we all know Big Nose Jack as he's gonna be like, my legacy must be protected. I gotta bury all the good ones that can be a threat to me, and I gotta push all my jobbers that are beneath me. I know they're bottom feeders, so that my 4 or 5 out of 10 in terms of charisma seems like 100. Compared to their zeros. My ego is so fragile. Fuck you, Noseman, again. Then we'll move on later on to the Drew McIntyre segment when he's saying that, yeah, he pinned Cody nowadays, wanting to gaslight us as if now all of a sudden Cody is taking pins from time to time, even though, as I illustrated previously, I know it's been it's not that long ago, people. It's not like the age of the cavemen or the Unka Unkas. No, it's like 10 to 15 years ago, modern times. Cody was being a jobber. He was getting pinned, as my boy the hater illustrated it, by like Brodus Clay and Tensai and other low level jobbers. He was getting pinned by them, getting squashed by our truth in squash matches. Or like have a match against Kane. Kane would throw him in the rope, chokeslam his bitch at the end. Or like whatever. Even during Smoke and Mirrors or whatever, even though Cody was, whoa, you're only smoke and mirrors, whoa, you're only smoke and mirrors, whoa, you're only smoke and mirrors, whoa, you're only smoke and mirrors to me. That's where he was, a flamboyant, arrogant goof with a vain personality. And that gimmick actually worked, by the way, if you notice, because that's exactly who Cody is. But now all of a sudden, they want to make us believe that Cody is this genuine superstar. Ugh. And later on during that segment, you see Randy Orton, instead of going after the title or doing something meaningful for someone of his caliber, no, he's being sucking up to Cody Rhodes and kissing his ass. Typical noseman burial booking. Again, you have Randy, who looks way better than he ever did before, now all of a sudden being booked like a jobber. Noseman logic. Then again, now we'll get to the. Did I mention the match of the. No, no, I didn't. Now we get to the match of Solo 75ers versus Street Profits. And as you already know, the most useless jobbers that the world has ever seen, none other than Jimmy Uso and Sami Zayn, are gonna be shoved up our asses and down our throats again. While Jimmy is gonna look, oh, look at me, I'm a giant retard. Yeah, we all knew that. It's not something that new. We all know you're a retard. You're no different than Jay, even though Jay might be slightly better than you by a smidge, and that doesn't say much. And Sammy, even if a schmuck like Solo is getting tired of you, that means you suck. You don't belong on TV. Hell, even all those teams combined belong in Jobber City, bitch. Pre-show guys, at best, or like if you want to take a piss or whatever. Then you already know the match how it goes. Street Profits are gonna win because it's not Solo and the ukulele guy or Hikole or whatever. Fuck him. You can go fuck himself for all I care. How about that? Then now we move on to the main event. Becky and Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton and Jade. You know that Becky and Jade, Tiffany and Nia Jax are gonna win because the heels Nia and Becky are gonna lose. Oh wait! Did I forget something? I'm pretty sure I did. The Damian Priest and Gaylister Black. Yes. I forgot that one. Sorry, peeps. My bad. That's how irrelevant those two jobbers are to me that I forgot about them. Nor do I give a fuck. You still have people like Damian Priest on TV and Gaylister Black, who looks like a Mercury's engine's head, the one that is being used on boats, like the 115 or 150. That one, with Mickey Mouse tattoos, now they want to make us believe that Gaylister Black all of a sudden is a better than he was before, even though he looked like shit by comparison to a Randy Orton or whatever. Who Randy was the ideal to be like a mid card or upper mid card back then. Sure shows you how low the standards have become nowadays. Then again, go figure. And now we'll move on to the main event match of Becky and Nia versus Jade and Tiffany, which was a whatever match. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody gives a crap. And You already know that Becky being the heel, she's gonna take. They're gonna take the pin, and they're gonna lose. And later on, we move on to the final thing: John Cena and that incompetent Nick Aldis, and Logan Paul getting the attack with a bad camera angle. Yet Marks back in the day used to shit on Kevin Dunn for his work, even though Kevin Dunn would have never fucked up a camera angle like that. Oh yeah, congratulations, Noseman, on your way of killing this company, you big nose idiot. And with that being said, that is the SmackDown review for this past episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe, and share it around. And with that being said, I'll see you next time. Take care.